BBC News. Hello, I'm Jerry Smith. The Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has responded to President Trump's announcement that he's scrapping peace negotiations with the Taliban. He said real peace was possible only when the Taliban stopped fighting and agreed to direct talks with the Afghan government. Earlier, President Trump revealed that he had scrapped a planned summit with the militant group because it had carried out an attack in which a US soldier died. These Afghans in Kabul gave their reactions.
We were very supportive of the peace process, but then one explosion goes off, and because of one American soldier dying, Trump suspends the peace process. So the Afghans who have been losing their sweet lives during all these years, is their blood worthless?
Of course, this tweet makes a difference, but we are dying all the time. So what if one of theirs dies too? How about all of the lives we have lost?
The most senior British minister to quit Boris Johnson's government, Amber Rudd, has told the BBC that up to 90% of the administration's time is spent on preparing for a no-deal Brexit.
There is a huge amount of planning and preparation around no deal. I've attended a number of those meetings, but I have not seen enough work going into actually trying to get a deal. When earlier in the week I asked Number 10 for a summary of what the planning was for actually getting a deal, I was sent a one-page summary.
The Finance Minister, Sajid Javid, vehemently denied that the government had given up on a deal, but said it was sticking to its plan to take Britain out of the EU on October the 31st with or without an agreement. A march by thousands of pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong to the US consulate has ended with fresh battles between the police and protesters. The BBC's Stephen McDonnell was at the protest.
Demonstrators have come out calling on Washington to take a tougher stance on their city. They want Congress to pass a bill which would mean that in order for Hong Kong in the future to enjoy this special trading status, these special trading privileges from the United States, they would have to pass an annual human rights test. Now, it's something of a risky strategy because imagine if Hong Kong loses its special trade status with North America.
France has criticised Iran's breaches of the international nuclear agreement, but said that the path to dialogue was still open. The French Foreign Minister, Jean-Yves Le Drian, acknowledged that it was the United States that first abandoned the accord, but he said the Iranians had responded badly to a bad American decision. World News from the BBC. The United States and Turkey have begun joint military patrols in northeastern Syria in a zone set up along the border. The aim is to ease tensions between Turkey and US-backed Kurdish fighters just across the border in Syrian territory. Our Middle East analyst Alan Johnston explains.
The first joint patrol began with armoured Turkish vehicles crossing into Syria to link up with American troops. They'll operate in a strip of territory along the border. Its establishment has involved Syrian Kurdish fighters pulling back from the frontier, something Turkey has wanted for a long time. The Kurds have been important US allies in the fight against the Islamic State group in Syria. But Turkey regards the Kurdish militias as a serious threat.
North Korea's state news agency says a powerful typhoon, Ling-Ling, which hit the country on Saturday, has killed 5 people and affected large areas of farmland. The north is already struggling with severe food shortages. Last year's harvest was the worst in a decade. At the same time, another typhoon, Farsai, appears to be heading for the Japanese capital Tokyo, where flights and trains have been cancelled. Bosnia's first-ever Pride March is taking place in the capital Sarajevo, with participants demanding greater rights and acceptance for lesbian, gay and transgender people. Bosnia is the last of the countries that once made up Yugoslavia to stage a Pride event. The US ambassador, Eric Nelson, who is himself gay, will be among the marchers. The director Roman Polanski has been honoured at the Venice Film Festival despite continuing controversy over his previous rape conviction. His film, An Officer and a Spy, retells the story of the persecution of a Jewish army officer in France. Mr. Polanski was not at the ceremony. BBC News.